2025 marks the 57th anniversary of one of the Beatles' most well-known, influential, and beloved works, the White Album. Here are 8 things you might not have known about what some consider to be their greatest album. Number 1. The actual title of the album isn't the White Album. It's actually called The Beatles. It's self-titled. As you can imagine, it's a bit confusing, hence the nickname, drawn from its iconic white cover. Number 2. It's the only Beatles album cover that doesn't feature the 4 Beatles in any form. The White Album symbolizes purity, a canvas that invites the listener to approach the album free of expectations. Number 3. The original release of the final album was printed with a serial number on the front cover, denoting the region and how early in the run the copy was printed. It's rumored that the first 4 albums went to the Beatles themselves, and today, albums with low serial numbers still fetch high prices at auction. Number 4. It was the longest gap between Beatles albums. Released in November of 1968, the White Album came almost a year and a half after their landmark Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. Critics and fans wondered if the Beatles had lost their way. They, of course, would soon be proved wrong. Number 5. For a brief period of the 1960s, vinyl albums were sold in 2 formats. One was mono, which meant that all of the instruments and vocals were combined into a single channel, meant to be heard through one speaker. By the mid-1960s, however, you could also spend a bit more and buy the album in a fancy new format called stereo. If you owned a stereo, you could actually hear different sounds from the left and right speakers. Some Beatles albums like Rubber Soul, Revolver, and Sgt. Pepper's had significant differences with odd things in the stereo versions, like the lead vocals isolated on the right side while the drums and guitars were on the left. By the end of the 1960s, however, the mono format was dying out, much like 4K and HD have now replaced standard definition television. The White Album, released in late 1968, was on the cusp of this transition and was the last Beatles album to receive dedicated mixes for both mono and stereo versions. The cool part is that if you compare the 2 versions closely, you'll notice a bunch of little differences. For example, the stereo version of Obla Di Obla Da has hand clapping, while the mono version doesn't. Ringo's song Don't Pass Me By is much faster on the mono version. The stereo version's fiddle at the end also plays a few different notes. It's a fun artifact of a different era. Number 6. The White Album features the only guest guitarist ever to play on a Beatles song, Eric Clapton, who plays the scorching lead guitar on his friend George Harrison's phenomenal track, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Number 7. Creative tensions had been brewing among the 4 Beatles ever since they had become primarily a studio band. In the middle of the recording sessions, Ringo, sensing that his playing and his sanity was suffering because of the low morale, announced on August 22nd that he was leaving the group. After about a week, John, Paul, and George realized how irreplaceable Ringo was, so they sent him a telegram asking him to come back. He agreed, and he was greeted with a display of flowers on his drum kit, arranged to spell "Welcome Back, Ringo." One byproduct of Ringo's absence during some sessions is that Paulmccartney actually stepped in to play drums on a couple of tracks. His drumming appears on the album's first 2 songs, Back in the USSR and Dear Prudence. Number 8. It's the longest Beatles album by far, with 30 songs clocking in at nearly 94 minutes. The album contains the Beatles' shortest full song and their longest track. No other album in their catalog shows off the breadth of talent and creativity of the 4 Beatles. In that hour and a half, the Beatles sampled virtually every genre and style of 20th century music up to that point, and that's a big part of why fans love this album so much. There's a little bit of everything. To commemorate the 50th anniversary of the album's release, Beatles producer George Martin's son supervised a brand new remix of the entire album, and it sounds amazing. There's also a ton of outtakes and a set of acoustic demos that would evolve into the final songs on the White Album. Check out the link in the description if you want to pick up a copy. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.